So when I speak light language, it circumvents the ego and the protection and the part of our brain that's keeping us safe and wanting to maintain the status quo. So the energy of the light language circumvents that and just drops into your energy system and is incorporated into the energy that you are emitting, so that the reality out there through the law of attraction begins to reflect that expanded energy. It happens the same way with English. So when you're learning a new task or you're learning something through watching and hearing somebody, you are absorbing that energy into your energy system so that you are then preparing the body to experience that knowledge and turn it into wisdom and not just leave it as philosophy. Does that make sense?
Hello and welcome. My name's Campbell. This is Spiral Up. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And today we have a guest with us. We have Joe, and Joe speaks, do I call it light language? A lot of people, I think that's a fairly common term. So you may or may not have heard of this. And so basically we're going to get into what it is and what Joe does and the benefits, I guess, of it, and explore something different, because I've basically never heard, I'd heard sort of whispers. I've never looked into this or anything. And Joe actually contacted me and we did an interview on her channel a few weeks ago. I'll leave the link below, so check that out. And she started talking to me in this light language, and there's definitely something there. It definitely hits you in the energy field. There's definitely something coming through. So yeah. Let's get into it. Welcome, Joe. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this.
Okay. We have a little bit of a delay here, and I've just given you an editing moment. So, a little bit about me. I've only been speaking light language for the past 3 years, but I've actually been on a spiritual journey for the last 35 years. I've always been interested in what makes us tick. Why do people see themselves and see the world the way that they do? And how I actually came to this journey, I was living in London when I was 27, and it was a magical life. It was everything, every Aussie heads off overseas for those couple of years. And I ended up in London, and I was earning great money, traveling to the continent, eating well, dressing beautifully, going out and seeing all the latest bands. And one night I was coming home on the tube and I was reading the paper. And in the paper were articles on rapes and murders in London, and there'd been an oil spill in the Antarctic, and it had gone through the krill, and so all the whales were eating this oil-filled krill. So it just was one of those moments of epiphany, and I got off the tube and I looked up at the stars, and I was just questioning what life was about. And the difference between the life I was living and these certain truths about the world was stark. The difference was huge. And so I thought, well, where do I go from here? What's the life that I should be leading? And I sort of looked in 360 degrees. I thought, should I be a farmer? Should I be a doctor? Should I be an astronaut, counselor? And no direction pulled me. And I said to God, I looked at the stars and I said, I'm actually done. If you want to take me tonight, you can. I'm finished. I don't think there's anything else for me on the planet. it wasn't an emotional moment. It wasn't hysteria. It was this knowingness, a deep knowingness in me that I couldn't live the way that I lived, and I couldn't see a way forward. So, God, I'm ready to go. So obviously, I woke up the next day and I was still there. And I ultimately met a woman who gave me, in a way, my first real spiritual book. And it was a book about living life more thoughtfully and consciously. And so that started me off on this journey for the next 35 years. And I have experienced and like dabbled in lots of different organizations and programs and processes, NLP, the Sedona method, tapping, a lot of different things over 35 years. So 3 years ago was when the light language came. So I have a practice that I've been running, I suppose, for 12 years. And in that practice, I suppose you could call me a life coach, but it has a spiritual perspective to it. So the law of attraction, energy, quantum mechanics, all of that is incorporated. So the light language, as I said, came through about 3 years ago. And I think it came through because I had reached a certain frequency. It is occurring much more around the planet at the moment. More and more people are speaking it. I heard a guy talk about it on one of his videos that he has on YouTube, and he's into sort of looking at trends and things that are happening. And he said the greatest increase in this sector is light language. So with my clients, I do light language and incorporate everything I've learned over 35 years. So the light language has, if I was to define myself, I am mostly a light language channel. It seems to have become the greatest focus within me because it, in a way, it is the most powerful tool around at the moment to help humanity navigate where we are in the moment. So that's sort of how I got to here.
So do you, with the light language, do you think it's a vibration frequency thing? Because obviously when you speak it, it's it's not English, it's a different language. So do you think that's based on what they're saying, and that is basically converted into a frequency that we can feel? Because when you spoke it to me, you can feel it. You can it's a weird, it's a strange thing. I mean, but this is the thing, I suppose. How much do you know about it? Because you say, you're more of a channel. Like, do you know who you're channeling, or do you get any information about that? Or
light language comes, from my perspective, from 3 different areas. The beings, so go with me on this, with the beings from inner earth.
Yeah.
The beings from inner earth, from the galactics, so from the star nations. And you certainly can channel archangels, yep, etc. as well. But it also comes from my soul. So it is beings that are who I have been. So obviously we know time is not linear, that everything is happening at once. So the language that I speak is the language that they speak, yep, and that I spoke and will speak and am speaking, and that you speak, that everybody speaks. English and French and all of the earth languages are a little bit fickle and not absolutely truthful. So if I say to you, I love you, but that really can have so many connotations. It could be because you're a good cook, or because you support me, if you do this, if you are that way. So there's other stuff tied up in it, in earth languages. So the light language is pure. Because it is frequency based, because the people that speak it are not, there's no ego, because ego really is just here. It's the first three levels of reality, the third dimension, first, second, and third dimension. So when we move to where as our frequency gets higher and higher, we begin to access, as you have spoken about, these other skills, these other things, being psychic, being able to be clairvoyant, etc. Well, I see the light language as that as well. So the reason that the light language is coming through now is that if I work with somebody and I'm speaking English at them, English terms, like, sort of encouraging them to become the observer of what they're going through. If I tell them something that they don't agree with, or that their ego doesn't want them to absorb, the energy of the English words bounces off their energy system, and you can't get through to them.
Okay.
So when I speak light language, it circumvents the ego and the protection and the part of our brain that's keeping us safe and wanting to maintain the status quo. So the energy of the light language circumvents that and just drops into your energy system and is incorporated into the energy that you are emitting, so that the reality out there through the law of attraction begins to reflect that expanded energy. It happens the same way with English. So when you're learning a new task, or you're learning something through watching and hearing somebody, you are absorbing that energy into your energy system, so that you are then preparing the body to experience that knowledge and turn it into wisdom, and not just leave it as philosophy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it felt like. It felt like an upgrade or something, or some kind of upgrade, I guess, opening, or it's sort of what it feels like when you hear it.
So I didn't actually answer your question. Do I know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not always, because it isn't always for me. It's often for the recipient. So part of it is my soul, and sometimes it's another being channeling through me. And that being is only there because the person I'm talking to is sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
How this is manifested in me is that I say what is needed for the person in front of me, who is being magnetized to me, who, through synchronicity or whatever, that is then, it helps encode into their system the next expanded experience, because that's what we sorely need on this planet, these new experiences. So light language is a mixture of coding, so that's coding. That is that there is energy coding in there, in between the spaces, in the noises and the clicks, and it is embraced by your system, your energetic system. So it can help release programs and energies that are holding you back, like trauma or concepts and beliefs, but it also can help upgrade your DNA. It can help activate the junk DNA. Anyway, so look, what happens is, it's coming up. I hope that you will allow me. I will just say a couple of words. So that's a different thing. That is a being that is coming through, but there's still coding in that. There's still frequency and energy. So that is talking often to the deeper aspect of you, to your soul. And sometimes it can be the go signal.
Yeah. What, the activation? Yeah. And just so you know, Joe, it just basically comes up this speech. So, I'll just say if it does come up, just let it come up, just so everyone can have a listen to it. So if she does start talking differently, that is the light language. Do you get any? Well, actually, I'll ask the other question. So you said that someone, like when you just spoke, that's because someone's come to say something. No, that's not you. That's another entity. So would that be that person's higher self, future, alternate, whatever you want to call it, or do you think it's also like friends, acquaintances, or whatever that we sort of know or have known or do know? Yeah.
It's mostly from my perception and my feeling that it is somebody within your soul family.
Okay.
It is your we have soul groups. So they're our cheering squad. They're our support network in the next frequency, because I really believe that a majority or many, many people on the earth who've incarnated are here on this rescue mission in a way. And we were the ones out of the soul group that decided to actually incarnate, to actually take this incredibly tough step. And so we actually have a support group that sort of stand around with us. And until our brain has opened and activated, it can sometimes be tough for them to get through to us until we've activated those gifts of intuition and clairvoyance and clairaudience. So, and that is not a fault of ours. That's a fact of this planet, and the heaviness and the ways we are hindered in that expression.
Yeah, definitely. So can you ask questions or get information, or is this all just a pretty much an automatic kind of a thing?
I tend to let it be an automatic kind of thing, because we should be encouraged to ask questions within ourselves of our higher self, to connect with that guidance system that exists that might not be fully operational yet. So there are times when I do answer questions, but it isn't the most prevalent aspect of this. It is that I trust that the words and the beings that speak through me are the exact things you need to hear right now. And that will be the best, I'll give you the best benefit or the best lift up or leg up where you are now. But when I'm talking light language, I've sort of disengaged. I'm guessing I'm in midbrain, in the psychic brain.
Yeah.
And the neocortex, where you do all your thinking and stuff, is sort of blank. And I'm not really thinking. So when I'm speaking, I will get an image, or I will get a word, or I get the gist of what I'm saying. But I can't do a word for word translation. I believe there are, and I know there are some light language channelers, but this is how it's manifested in me. And like the other day, I was talking to a guy who loves to chant, and we were talking about Shiva, and I started to channel Shiva. Oh, wow. Because that's what he wanted. That was his connection point. That was his interest. And so Shiva sort of started to come through and speak. Whew. Okay, next question.
Shiva, wow. Okay. So are there, because I mean, Shiva's like a, obviously referred to as a god and all this kind of stuff. Are there bigger like energies, like god energies and like, or beings and then lower beings as far as you know, or is that just our perception of someone who's a higher entity?
We are all in the core of our being divine, a fractal of God, a fractal of source, a fractal of the creator. So there really is no difference between Archangel Gabriel and who we are at the core of our being. We just see this as a hierarchy. But we exist because everything is happening at once. You and I and everybody on this planet exist as an ascended being. It's just in a different when and where. It's such a funny concept to try and get your brain around. Because somewhere we've already ascended, somewhere we've already reached our full potential. And that's saying that this isn't our full potential, but this is a really important process or experience in the grand scheme of things. So, we say Shiva's a god, but that's really a human definition. That's a 3D, that God is out there, God is better, God is higher. But in fact, if we truly knew who we were, we would know there's no up and down in that. And that there is an equality, or there isn't this. There is no big deal in channeling Shiva. It's no big deal. It's just another aspect of existence and expression.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Now you touched on there's many souls that have incarnated down here at the moment. Now, obviously, the world's crazy. So there's something happening, and there's so many sort of prophecies and things that point to this time. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think? Do you think this is we're here to basically raise the vibration? And also, is that why you think light language is becoming popular or becoming more prevalent? Because whatever our soul family are coming through to activate us. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, we're definitely here as volunteers. If you've read any of Dolores Cannon's stuff, she talks about the various waves of volunteers. So yes, we've come in to assist with this part of the planet, this part of the galaxy's evolutionary process, and being with Gaia, being with the essence and the energy of the earth. So we are moving into this next frequency, the next harmonic up. But from my perspective, things happen. Reality is happening on different levels. So let's look at this on a different level. Why are we here? Why are we experiencing the life that we're experiencing? That divine spark inside of us is on a journey of exploration. Point zero, or creator, wanted to understand itself through parts of itself splitting off and going on this journey, which is why I know that within me is that spark of that original creator. So we are living every experience, and my experience is mine, and it's different to every other person's. But I think and feel that where we are on this planet is one of the toughest assignments, or the toughest experiences, because not only have we forgotten that we are divine and that we are an aspect of God, we have forgotten the true reality of source. But that's what is the what is the greatest lesson that source can have or learn about or experience? What it is to forget that it actually exists. We are as far away from this is a so if you want to know yourself, how do you know love if you've not known fear? How do you know joy if you've not known happiness, sadness? It's contrast. So here, when Source sent out all of us on this journey of exploration, we had all these experiences knowing that this was still here and that this was at the core of us. So we got to it, all of us got to the point of experiencing all trillions of experiences and sending all of that knowledge back here to point zero. So what was the next thing? What's the unknown? To live an existence where its children or its aspects forgot that this existed even. And that we didn't know that we were part of this. So we are in the toughest assignment, the toughest, furthest reaches of this experience, that we don't know that we're divine. And so we've been rolling around in this experience of being lost for a long time. And it's a tough experience. But as we begin the ascension process and move out of the duality and out of this place of being lost, and remember that this exists, this information gathered in this furthest reaches of the reality will then be logged back in here. And so God or Source will have the knowledge of that experience, making known the unknown.
Nice. Yes, well, there you go. That's a very good answer. Yeah. Yeah, this is it's such a strange time, isn't it, with all these with everything going on, and like with the whole NPC thing and people like, because there seems to be different like you said, like volunteers or whatever you want to call them. There seems to be a group of people down here that are different, let's just say different to everyone else. Now, so do you think that we've come in to try and pull everyone else up in their vibration, or and NPCs, what do you think about this, and the whole split,
the non-player
characters and the split, different frequencies? How do you see that?
Well, as I said, reality is happening. And for me, I go between all of these as truths, because there are 7 billion people approximately on the planet. So there are 7 billion different realities.
Yeah, little worlds, yeah. So this is the thing, like, because if everyone's, divine, I mean, obviously it just means that some people have really forgotten their connection. And so I guess, I guess I've just answered my question. So that's why we come down, is to remind people and to try and get them to reconnect, because without that, we can't finish this level and go up and download the information. Is that pretty much?
See, I think when I look at what's happening when you watch other people going through this journey, hold on a sec. Can I speak some light language?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I'm trying to explain a concept in English that is difficult to explain. So I'm going to bring through some energy, and if everybody just feels, because it is coming out of me now, and it will be incorporated into your system, and you will begin to experience what I'm saying as the next following days and weeks unfold. They're telling me that I didn't, I was floundering a bit in trying to explain this because there are so many different perspectives, and they're all real according to you. You are the everything in a way is an illusion, and you are the only real thing. So everybody's journey is real. So, yes, this is a tough situation with, the Jabberwocky, as you call it, and all of that. And there is definitely something that we are learning from this. And it is helping us grow through the friction and the triggering we get because of this situation. But there's another level where this is absolutely perfect, what's happening, because it is part of the making the known unknown journey. So this, on one level, it's terrible and all of these things are happening, but on another level, there's another way to look at it. So anyway, yep.
Yeah, no.
Next question.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think this is all about us. It's the matrix is making us stand up. We've lost our power and we've given it away. And that's what's happening now is we have to stand up and take it back. That's why it's getting so bizarre out there. Because some people still don't see it. So it has to get just insane so that they see it and stand up. And so I think that's what this is all about, is us just, getting our power back so that we can, I don't know, level up or whatever you want to call it, I guess. Do you see, do you get any visions of what these entities look like?
The ones that are speaking through me?
Yeah.
It's more of a feeling of them. I did have one time a real strong vision of what the guy was like, and that was coming through, and he was sort of in me because we were working. I was doing a healing session on a woman who'd had a really bad ayahuasca trip. And she for 2 years had been out of her body energetically, what she went through. And she couldn't sleep, she couldn't work, she was just sort of out of it. And we went through the whole session and she didn't mention this. And then right at the very end, she mentioned that she'd had this bad trip. And so immediately, because she asked and mentioned it, immediately this being came through me. And he had like a big tall hat on, and he had a big robe, and he got her on the table, and we worked to bring her energy body back in alignment with her endocrine system in her body, that she was out and couldn't, she was
disjointed.
Yeah. So she so that was the strongest time, because I didn't know what to do with that. And it was really a physical manipulation of the energy body. So it was beyond the light language, which is codes and stuff to affect what is happening. So do I get an image? No, it's really more of a feeling about it.
Yeah, right. So I didn't realize. So you use this for healing as well. You literally, instead of talking though, you're channeling the energy of the being. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Because it's frequency. So illness and depression, etc., is a heavy, low frequency. And when you speak light language, it comes from a higher frequency. So in simple terms, entrainment happens. So when you have two frequencies, the lower is generally pulled up to the higher and helps release the heavy energies. And that's actually what's happening on the planet at the moment with all of this influx, the energy through the Lion's Gate and from the Grand Central Sun, and all of that is a higher frequency. So everybody's unresolved stuff which is like the sediment at the bottom of a pond that we've been rowing across in our lives, is getting stirred up, and through entrainment is coming up. And what happens is, as it comes up, you begin to feel it. You begin to process it. And it's sort of in a way why people can get, like some people are facing emotions and feelings that they haven't really felt, that they've had pushed aside. And so they're coming up to be felt. And that's part of what's happening, that those heavy energies of to do with the first three chakras have made our lives unfold according to the law of attraction in response to those frequencies in the first three levels. And this has been happening lifetime after lifetime, part of because of that big external control system that's been around the planet. But that, as we know, is being dismantled and changed, and the energies are shifting, and now we're all just rising in frequency. And as the frequency rises, all of our unresolved, unhealed things are going to come out to be felt. And in that respect, what happened in what's been happening since March last year has another perspective. It's absolutely essential. It's sort of put all of the people on the planet in a spiritual retreat, almost, and having to process all their stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think we definitely needed to go through this. And I mean, you see it, so many people are going through, emotional journeys, shall we call it that, at the moment. Because obviously there's something going on. What do you think is happening with the sun? Do you have any perspective on that? Have you seen there's double suns everywhere, and sun dogs and weird stuff happening? Other bodies coming in front of the sun.
Yes, I know. I don't really have any knowledge. I haven't really looked at it, except that I understand that the sun is a portal, and that the energy that we are now in alignment with, we were out of alignment with this energy from the grand central sun for quite a few thousand years. And now, I think it was last year's Lionsgate, we realigned with the grand central sun. Again, I'm not really up on it, but I do know that the sun that we have is a portal to the grand central sun, and that we are now more in alignment because we are ready. We're at this point of really doing this next big leap on the planet. But no, I don't know all the ins and outs of
well, it's interesting you say that, because that would be a way to change frequency, wouldn't it? Obviously, if it's more aligned, then the frequency can raise up. I'd never really thought of the frequency coming through the sun, but that might be what's happening here. The Schumann resonance is jumping up all over the place and going mad. But that's what it seems like. There's, like you say, people trying to dismantle the old system or beings or whatever, but down here, the beings that wish to control us are sort of doing everything they can just to hide that. I don't think they can stop it. I think they're just trying to hide it and just trick everyone as long as they can, and get the vibration down, get everyone jabberwockied up.
So from my perspective, don't worry so much about what they're doing, what the black hats are doing. I feel that you need to be as interested in how you are reacting to what they're doing, because it's in a way only happening to show you what's unresolved within your system. So what do you feel about the Jabberwocky? So if you were to bottom line it, I have no control over my life, or I'm afraid of whatever. So deal with the fear, the issue, the energy of fear. Deal with the issue of powerlessness, because that's really still the reason you're feeling these emotions about all of these things in your world, is because it's mirroring something in you, it's triggering something in you. So if you process your feeling of powerlessness and let go of what's out there for the moment, just feel that, you start the transformation and the alchemization of the energy at the core of the powerlessness or at the core of the fear. And you are changing your energy signature. So the energy that you begin to emit doesn't emit fear in the same way, doesn't emit powerlessness in the same way. And thus the world begins to reflect and mirror back the change in you. So, for example, you could be having issues with a neighbor, for example, and the neighbor is annoying you, or the neighbor and you are at odds. If you let go of the neighbor as an individual, but just deal with how you feel, the anger or the fear or the powerlessness, the frustration, and you process that and take responsibility for that emotion, you've shifted what drew that neighbor to you in the first place. And what can happen is, without you doing anything, your neighbor will move away. Or your neighbor will focus on somebody else to annoy. Because it's only happening because there's an energy game going between you and your neighbor, trying to help each other see what needs to be healed within them. So it even works on the level of the Jabberwocky. It is, if you can take responsibility for the emotions you're feeling when you are faced with some of that, you shift the energy, you morph and alchemize your energy signature, and the world begins to reflect that change.
Definitely agree with that. I mean, we see it every day, unfortunately, more in the negative than the positive. But I mean, this is, again, finding our power and finding our connection to source, because, if there's no God, right, then we're not creators and we're sort of stuck. But so that's what that's how I see this whole event, if you want to call it that. It's all about showing us, hey, you gave away all your power. Are you going to take it back? Or what if we do this? Are you going to take it back now? Or what if we do this? Are you going to take it back now? What if we do this? And I think that's what's happening. And we've just got to hit a point where everyone just says, hang on, no one rules me. There's only God's law. There's no LAW law. And really take back our power. And the faster we do that, the faster we get through this. Because, I mean, we have won and we're going to get through it. But, I've said a few times, it's all just dependent on how fast we're going to, clean our baggage out and raise our vibration up, really, isn't it? Which is what everyone's out there trying to do.
Well, if you think what we actually have encoded really, really, really deeply in our DNA, we were created as a slave race. And so in our DNA is the energy and the concept of a slave. What happens with a slave? They have no control over their life. Their owner or the controller determines when they get up, when they go to bed, where they go out, where they eat, have total control over their lives. So what's happening at the moment is, on the planet, is we are in the process of clearing out that slave energy out of our DNA. And so this is the point. We have to, as you say, take back our power, know that we are self-directing beings, and face the fear of speaking out against our owners.
Yes, those who think they're their owners. So do you think that we were created as a slave race to give that separation to as the base, sort of program for the experience of being separated?
Yes, in some way. I think there are many ideas about how we ended up here. Part of it is an experiment. Some people have described it as an experiment of being as far away from unity as possible. But other people say that it was
like the Gaia sort of narrative. I mean,
yeah,
that's similar, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, but also that we got the experiment got hijacked.
Yeah, by
Yeah,
yeah, the Archon
by
and
these other
other
beings.
stuff. Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah. I mean, that's what it feels like, and it, that's kind of what it feels like. We're down here, a bit of a rescue mission because something's gone
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
Mm.
I just wish it would hurry up. I feel like I've been here a long time.
So what you need to process, Campbell, is the energy behind the hurry up, because you want it to hurry up. So what you are emitting is want. And so the
Yeah,
world, the energy keeps bringing that.
yeah,
So your first step to finding, to get that hurry up, or that place, get to 5D or New Earth, is to really find peace with where you are by processing the want of it. And it's a long thing, or it's a short thing to process that, but you will find it goes much faster when you let go of wanting it to be different.
That's a very good point. Because of course you can't have what you want, right? You're still
Yeah,
wanting it. You
yeah,
can't want to
yeah.
stand up.
Mm.
Yeah, right. I mean, that is one of, yeah, I should look at that. I do tend to sort of go like a bull at a gate at everything and find it hard to stop. But
I think, let me jump in, there should be balance.
mm,
Go the bull at the gate, that's good, but balance it with moments of just surrendering.
yeah, definitely calm the energy down. And because it, like you said, time doesn't even exist. So if time doesn't exist, how can I hurry anything up? It seems a little bit silly, doesn't it? But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just noticing our programs is the biggest thing because we don't notice them. And that's why talking to people, like you, like now is, they can point them out. Hey, what are you doing this for? And I guess that's what we're trying to do at the moment. So awesome. Have you got anything else you'd like to sort of say, leave us with?
What would I like to say? Let me bring through a little bit more language, just as a final thing.
Yep.
Iko kamba kike, sakiko kan sakatati ke kochtaka amakike. You all know on a deep level why you're here and what you are doing and what you will be doing. Zikonge ka saka ateke e soko uchika asa ako kumbateke. Zikiko ka saka atsuku ushtaka atseke e kakambande keka. Ziki keke kochaka asaka. So do that inward journey. Let go of the external world from time to time and do an internal journey to that deeper part of you. Shikonakakatse kiko ata be de kokatsuka achike isaka ateke ko kambanda. Shike tekoka omboko te saka akata se eteke ganga saka ateke koka saka achike isaka koka. Inga bakata chutoko saka kike. And this is just the beginnings, in a way, into this knowledge and into this greater, deeper understanding of what's actually happening. And discovering the depth of this journey and the breadth of this journey that we're on will be part of the next however many years. We will access parts of our brain that will begin to understand and put the pieces of the puzzle together. So just trust that is a part of what we're experiencing. It's not that we jump from here to 5D. It is this constant revelation and understanding through a deeper connection with who we are.
Cool. I guess as we see the world differently, the world we see will be different. So yeah, it's all a rising up of energy and seeing further. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you very much for that, Joe. And Joe does have a YouTube channel as well. We'll leave the link below for that. So go and check her out. And
I've also just put out a little tiny video to help people cope with the anxiety and the stress that we're going through. So just like I said to you, process the want, feel the want, become aware and conscious of the want. it's a little exercise to help you do the same for anxiety and stress. Because if you process that anxiety and stress, the world will look different and be different for you. So I'll give you the link for that,
Yes,
that little
definitely.
process underneath as well.
Right, and we'll put that down there too. Awesome. Thank you for that. All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time, Joe. And yeah, that was awesome. So
thank you. Thank you.
thank you.